Hello and welcome. Now, in the course, we talked about doing something called webinar jacking or webinar hijacking, and we're going to hijack the bonus process with an automated webinar system. And so I'm inside of a webinar system. It's called Webinar Fusion Pro. And just about any system that has an automated system can do something like this. So if yours is not Webinar Fusion Pro, you can actually replicate this inside of your own. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to just take a look at one of my webinars, and I'm going to turn it into a recorded webinar. So here's one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit this one. And I'm going to make this a recorded video, recorded webinar. I'm going to use one of my recordings here, and I'll just use one here. Right, so this webinar is now going to play this particular video that I've already uploaded. Now, the webinar system is not the point here. The point that I want to get to here is your actual time to make the offer. So I'm going to go inside of the system of Webinar Fusion Pro, and what we would do is we would set up an offer. So we'd go and set up an offer, and in this particular case I've already got one that was already in here, even though I didn't launch it for this webinar. So I'm going to take a look and edit this one. You'll notice here it's got a name, it's got a URL, it's got a URL, and then it's got a button text, right? So if I preview this, okay, it doesn't have a graphical representation. Remember, we always want to have a graphical representation. So let's go ahead and put one in here. I'm just going to pick any image right now. Okay, so we've got one in there. We're just going to click preview. Okay, so there's our graphical representation. Right now, a person can click this button and be sent to a particular URL. So now our offer is set. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set the timing. Now in Webinar Fusion Pro, this is called the Fusion Bot. It's called different things in different systems. And so what we're going to do is at the point of, we're going to say at the point of this 29:54, we're going to actually make sure that the offer is shown to the attendees. I'm going to click add. So now what we want to do is to make sure that on an automated basis, when somebody comes to this webinar, they start watching it, they get to the point where it's 29:54, they're going to see the offer. So now we're really set up so that the person can actually watch a webinar. And however you do it inside of your webinar system, in Webinar Fusion Pro, it's called the Anytime link. So we would grab that link, and once again, I'm going to recommend that you put this link inside of some kind of paging system, or that you cloak it. And today, right, most webinar systems are not being targeted for spam of any kind, but you don't necessarily want to rely on that, especially if you're going to have traffic on an ongoing basis. So one of the things that you can do is, I'm going to go back to the video where we created a landing page, and basically we're going to create the same kind of landing page. In this case, we would not create, a video. We would maybe say, we'd put a headline in here, and our headline would say visit this webinar or something to that effect. And then this URL would go to that Anytime link, right? So now a person comes to the page, they see the headline, they're being asked to take a look at the video. Maybe we'll give them some incentive, we'll give them a bonus if they check this out, or tell them what they're about to experience. I mean, we can probably get a different kind of template. We could probably get one that people recognize as a webinar template, right? We could do that, or some kind of special event page. Right, we could do something like this, and we can make that Anytime link the button. Okay, but now when they click that button, they're going to be taken to that webinar, and they're going to be able to watch that webinar, and then we know that at the 30-minute point, they're going to be shown an offer. And what we want to do with the timing is, we want people to have seen the actual value, and want them to appreciate what it is that is being offered, and then to be able to click the link. Now, we don't necessarily want to show them the offer prior to the point in the video where they have seen the entire value, right? So in this particular case, in Webinar Fusion Pro, not entirely sure. Let's just take a look and see what actually happens. You're going to see here then when they get that link, it's going to say that the webinar is going to start in 10 seconds, right? And then the video is actually going to start. Right now, what we want to do is we just want to see, okay, so I'm going to stop this here. But that's actually what would happen. So when you send people to that automated webinar, they're going to click the link, they're going to start watching the video, and then at 30 seconds or 30 minutes, they're going to see the offer. And so we would be making sure that that process is as seamless as possible, and that they would be able to make or buy what it is that we have to sell. Now, there is another aspect of this that I do want to tell you about. And I'm going to go back into the webinar system because, in particular, one of the things that we can do with a webinar is we can actually make it so that the webinar is really doing the selling for us. We don't want to rely on a sales page. And so in that particular case, I'm going to go back into this webinar. And when I create this offer, so this is very important because every page that your viewer has to click on will probably lead to some kind of drop off. So in this particular case, they're being sent to a sales page, right? But we may not want to send them to a sales page. What we could do is, I'm going to go inside of JV Zoo right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to one of the products. I'm going to go to the buy buttons here. Right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to send them to this link. Right, and the reason I'm going to send them to this link is because I will have already sold them. Right, I would have spent the webinar doing the selling process, and I may not want to send them to a sales page. In that particular case, all I want them to do is to go to the buy page, right? Let's click Save Changes. And that's where they would appear. They would appear at the actual buy page as opposed to a sales page. And again, you're really then depending on the selling process to happen inside of the webinar. So if you've got a good converting webinar, you've got a good sales process, or you're confident that you're going to be able to communicate all the features and benefits and then the value, then you want to send them directly to go buy at that point in the webinar when they're ready to make the purchase. Okay, so that's it for part 6. Thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome. Now in this video, we're actually going to go and look at some of the services that you can offer to other internet marketers and entrepreneurs. Now you'll notice here that we are in the Warrior Forum, and if you look at the address that we are in the warriorforum.com. Now you may or may not have an account at the Warrior Forum. In some cases you may want to get an account so that you can go here and offer some of these services, but we're actually going to be talking about how you can offer them in a different way. But you do want to come to the Warrior Forum so that you can understand what other marketers are looking for in the service. Now you notice here that I've gone inside of the Warrior Forum. I've gone inside of a particular forum that's called the Warriors for Hire, and I'm actually going to show you how you get to that forum right now. Now, you are looking at the Warrior Forum, and what you're going to do is you're going to look at the very front part of the forum. You want to look for this subforum called Warriors for Hire. When you get there, you're going to see that you get to actually search the forum, and you want to go inside of the forum and then click Search this forum. You then want to do an advanced search. When you get there, what you're going to do is you're going to actually put in the terms that you want to search for. And the way that I do it is I like to look for the titles only in my search. And this will actually give me those results that I'm really looking for. Otherwise, you can get a lot of irrelevant results. You're going to notice here right away that I've actually gone and I've looked for video creation in Warriors for Hire. And you notice that there are quite a few results here. There are 63 total, and you get a chance to see those people that are actually creating video for other people. And you can look at that and look at some of their listings to see what they're looking for. One of the great things about the Warrior Forum is you'll actually get to see some of the replies and how people created the service, maybe what they did and did not do fully when they were servicing customers. You'll also see here that I can actually put in here creation. Right, and you can see there are people who just do the creation process. I've also done a search for voiceover, and so again, if you've got audio equipment and you can actually do the actual voiceover, you can go inside of the Warrior Forum again to see what a service looks like. I understand that you can do any of these services on Fiverr that may or may not necessarily be the market that you're looking for. You can do that, but what we're talking about is creating the service that other internet marketers want so that you understand how to do it for their business. I'm actually going to show you here. Here's someone who's offering a webinar service. Right, you can see what they're looking for. They've actually got their tools on the Warriors for Hire section. Right, so they're offering a webinar service. You can also see that there's someone who writes sales copy. Quite a few people there. You look at their 70 listings, and these are people that rewrite or write sales copy. So if you are confident in the way that you write or rewrite sales copy, maybe you want to do it for people who already have PLR, you can actually do that and offer that service here inside of the Warrior Forum, or you can offer services that mirror these that are in the Warrior Forum. You'll see here that here's someone who understands how to put a membership site together. So this is someone who obviously understands whether it's optimized press or whatever membership site software that's out there. If you have that software, you can actually offer the service to be able to set people up in their membership site. You can see here that here's someone looking for somebody who understands ClickFunnels. So if you understand ClickFunnels and you understand how to get people set up and how to get people operating, that's a service that you can offer. You can offer Facebook ad management. So again, now you do need to understand how this actually works, but once again, it is a service that you can offer people in addition to actually doing the actual work of doing your own Facebook ads. And one of the things I want to show you right here is that here's someone who actually does interviews, and they actually give you some of the assets that go along with it, and you can buy an interview service. Right? They'll do a third-party interview of you. So basically, you want to poke around the Warrior Forum so you can find out what marketers are looking for. Go to the Warriors for Hire section. In some cases, you can go to the classified ad section. And what you're going to do is you're going to actually get a look at how to offer a real service that you can actually take some of the products that you already have and turn them into services for other people. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you in another video. You are now looking at the Warrior Forum, and we are looking here because this is going to be one way for you to list your services to other internet marketers. And you notice that there is a form here called the Warrior Special Offer Form. And the form that you're going to be looking at, actually you're going to look at two. You're going to look at the Warriors for Hire section. You're going to look at the Warrior Classified Ad section. Both will cost you $20 to list a particular service there. And in the Warriors for Hire section, you want to take a look at some of the other ads, as we've talked about in another video, and structure yours accordingly. You're also going to want to look at the classified ad section, and you're going to want to list something and structure it accordingly. Now, that's not going to be the only way for you to be able to list what it is that you're going to do, and it's actually not even the most effective way. Now, monetize.com is a site where you are going to find out about future launches, and you're going to be able to find out about them before they happen. And these are going to be the people that may be open to something that you are going to do. And so you want to find out who's going to have something that you are going to have a service that is going to be relevant for them to offer to their customers. And as you can see here, from the next 10 days, you've probably got over 50 to 100 launches. So there are lots of opportunities here for you to be able to offer a service. You can do the same thing inside of another site called JV Notify Pro. The idea behind the site is the same thing. You are going to be finding out who's going to have a product that is going to fit what it is that you are actually going to do. Once you understand these sites, you can actually go and look at products that have already been launched, not only in JV Zoo and Warrior Plus, but you can also take a look at products that have been launched in ClickBank. And there are going to be lots of different kinds of products being offered here, digital products. And again, if you have a service that's going to be relevant to the customers that are going to be buying this, this is where you're going to want to reach out to the vendor. So if we have a vendor, let's say that we pick one of these vendors and we look at them and we see that they've got a product here. And what's going to happen is they're going to have a joint venture page. We're going to go and check out that joint venture page. They're then going to have something where you can actually contact them. Typically, you're going to find that there at the bottom. You're going to want to reach out to them by the means that they have set up to be reached out to. And when you reach out, you're just going to write a little note there. Hey, I noticed you've got a service launching next month. Maybe you want to put the date in there. Talk about what it is you do. Make it brief. Make it clear about what it is you do. And then just make a pitch. Hey, I wonder if you have a way for your customers to actually get this done for them. If not, I like to talk to you for being able to set these up for your launch. You want to show them some of the previous work, or at least some of the people who have seen you do this work before. You have some testimonials, and then just ask them when a good time to talk might be. Right? Make it easy for them to contact you. Right? Give them Skype, Facebook, your mobile number, and email. And then reach out to them. And then maybe you want to wait a little while and then just kind of see where that leaves you. You can do this as many times as you want to, as many products as you see that you feel comfortable that you'd be able to offer the kind of service that their customers might be interested in. Now, even though you're going to have these various ads in various places, you are going to want to have your own page. We are going to cover that in a future video in this course. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.